Everything we know, from people and ants to stars and galaxies to quarks and atoms, the entire universe, might just be a simulation running inside a supercomputer inside an even bigger universe. Ancient philosophers said that the universe is a dream that we're waiting to wake up from. In this dream world of the imagination, anything is possible. All cultural items, from the dreams of our rodent-like ancestors, to books, to television shows, are merely permutations of the reality we think we live in. Today's age of computers and video games places simulations at the center of our cultural consciousness. A select group of us perform simulations for fun and profit, and we call them games, role-playing and otherwise. We live to run simulations. Join us on the Simulationist podcast as we explore our culture of simulations.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Simulationist podcast. This is the 111th iteration of the podcast. We're recording it on the 19th of October, 2014.
So close to Halloween. I mean, I could have sworn the month just started.
We're counting the days down to that evil day, or good day, I guess.
Well,
Candy. My name is Josh Trelevin.
I am now a candy-focused Ryan Kirkby. Now that it's on my head, although between you guys and me, I'm waiting for November 1st. I'm going to see what I can do about going into the stores fairly early and getting the really cheap, oh no, we need to sell it Halloween candy.
Actually, I'm probably going to do that too. Yeah, that's like the adult version of trick-or-treating, right? Because you know, it's, I mean, actually, now that you have a kid, you can probably get away with it. But for me, without kids, I can't really go, well, I probably could. You know, maybe I'll try it.
There's always the mall trick-or-treating sort of thing. You just go like behind a bunch of kids, and then they automatically assume one of them is yours, and you get a candy here and there. Not great candies, but you get one.
I just like the thought of being like, and your kid is, oh, that kid over there, you know.
Didn't you see Bat Baby? Come on, man. Oh God, where's my kid? Oh my God, I thought I was in the front. I gotta go. Can I have some candy first?
Hilarity ensues.
Excellent. Although I must admit, this year I think will be the last year for my daughter that we do in-mall trick-or-treating. There's some very nice suburbs in the area of Victoria. I wouldn't mind taking her for a more traditional door-to-door type thing.
Yeah, as soon as she's big enough to sort of hobble along and...
Well, she can walk along now, but I want it to be something she knows and something we can teach her about properly.
Okay, yeah.
I think there's just something nice about the door-to-door, community-type style.
Yeah, I like it too, and there has been occasionally like little trends or movements to people say, okay, we're going to do a party instead and have all the kids come over, and yes, you get candy because, there's goodie bags, but they're saying that, oh, well, it's dangerous to be on the streets. But I think we should sort of fight against that a little bit.
I think they've done a very good job for the younger kids of making sure that they have good late hours for Halloween trick-or-treating.
Mm-hmm.
The slightly older kids after dark sort of thing ends around 9 to 11, depending on where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a worthwhile endeavor to try and create a society in which it is safe to go door to door and ask for candy.
Well, at least one day a year when it is officially sanctioned and acknowledged. I mean, I don't want kids just randomly going door to door.
Just every day.
Of course, you always wind up getting those kids, who get extra creative, and they'll do something like, take a Pokemon like Slowbro, dress up as them, and go trick-or-treating on November 2nd. Then everyone gets like, oh, okay, that's a good laugh. I'll see if we got any candy left. And they might get a little extra. Because, creativity, right? But, no, I also think the door-to-door stuff helps promote good costuming. You don't want to be the kid who's got the worst costume on the block as they're going back and forth, right? Because then you're showing off your bad costume to all the other kids with their great costumes. So it encourages...
As long as you get candy, though.
Well, yeah, but, it's like humiliating candy.
Let me think. Yeah, when I was a kid, I liked dressing up probably almost as much as I liked getting candy. So, yeah. So I definitely enjoyed having a good costume.
I enjoyed being a creative, scary costume. The time I had to dress up as a clown, I was not happy, because for me, clowns are just not scary.
Okay.
I know they're scary to a lot of people, especially because, I was young, so it'd be like a half size, like a pint size clown running around. That can be really scary for some people because, like, oh God, the clown was here a second ago, where'd they go? So, I wasn't happy with that. I wanted to be like, like a werewolf or something, but no. Just wasn't in the Halloween budget that year. Thank you, little brother Jason, ruining things with your baby diaper expenses.
So Jason, if you're listening,
you owe me some good Halloween, costuming.
He's going to be on the podcast again fairly soon.
Yes, yeah. Cool. He'll have to explain himself then.
Yeah. What else? NaNoWriMo is coming up soon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The month of November is when all of our budding writers. This is the chance for people who don't normally write to sort of get into it.
It's an excuse to start writing, and that's all some people really need.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing NaNoWriMo. I mean,
the results might not be pretty, but I always figure it to lancing a boil. Sometimes your skills aren't up to par. How do you get them up to par? Practice. And that's effectively lancing the boil. You get all the bad stuff out. Don't show it to anyone if you don't think it's good. You just get it out of your system, man. Just clean it out, man. And then once you're done, maybe next year's NaNoWriMo, you've done a little bit more writing. You got your muscles, your writing muscles into shape, sort of thing. Then you produce the good stuff, and then you publish it, or send it to friends or whoever it's relevant to, and then
well, okay,
accomplishment.
Here's how I understand the writing process. As being a person who has often thought about writing, but is one of the many people who never really sort of gets it done. But anyways, here's, I guess, what I've absorbed as far as advice is that yes, you write the garbage or the crap, and you write it. That's what NaNoWriMo does. Is you get it all. But it's not the fact that you maybe you build your muscles a little bit, or your writing muscles, or whatever, or you teach yourself a little something. But mainly, what you do is you get a piece of writing that is not very good, but then you can work on that piece through the rest of the year, right? So then you do editing, you do revising, you make changes, you cut out whole 10 pages here, 10 pages there, you add a little bit.
Learn to plot, sort of things like, wow, this would have worked so much better if it had been 2 chapters ago.
Yeah, you move events around so that they have more or less impact depending on where you want them to be. Yeah. So it's not about NaNoWriMo is not about becoming a better writer. It's about getting something to start with and to work with, because you can. Like, people talk about horrible writing. Oh, this is terrible. Like,
I've seen some pretty bad writing. I got groups on like Twitter that send out the worst of the best, or the best of the worst, or the worst of the worst. However you want to see it. It's some really harsh, weird stuff.
Yeah, but what I believe about writing is that there's no piece of writing that's bad enough that it can't be improved. I mean, obviously.
On the other hand, there is some stuff that is so bad it goes back or looping the horn into incredible.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, keep it around, and if you dare, show it to some people.
I believe it's called The Eye of Argon. Has just a really nice, horrible style to it. I believe is what it's reference to. People just they read it and it's like, there's no way this guy was intentionally trying to do it. There's no way this is not a parody or satire. No. Actually, it's completely on the level. What you see is what the guy was trying to do, and this is back in like the zine days before everything got published online. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure the bottom of the barrels managed to find a new bottom underneath that, as people with bare literacy skills are putting stuff out, 700-page manifestos of what Sonic should be doing to various other game characters.
Let me put it this way. Let me try this a different way. If you saw some of the first drafts of some of your favorite writers, I don't know. I don't actually know how many of them work. So some of them, like, it just flows from their pen or their keyboard. Just
you're Stephen King, man. You just write that in your sleep.
Well, I don't like. I suspect that Stephen King's writing, probably his first drafts probably are pretty bad. I suspect.
I believe they were much worse back in the 70s when he was doing the teaching thing, and the writing was on the side. And then he wrote so much, he became awesome at it, and then it all coagulates in his head, and then he's able to filter out the stuff. It's like, no, that's a bad idea. This is not going to work. Not really my thing going on there. And the next thing you know, he winds up, oh, hey, I've created another 1,400-page masterpiece. Ha ha ha. What have you guys done this last year? And then we all just bow our heads and go, oh, Stephen King, you made us feel bad.
A lot of people have written a lot of it. There are a lot of people who produce that kind of writing.
But King quality?
Who knows? I mean, I wish there was a better way of distributing people's writing. Yeah.
Some sort of, like a database for the whole thing where it can be rated and shared.
Yeah, you read about like slush piles, and it's very depressing when you read about someone who talks about their job being like they might be an intern at a publishing company and they go through the slush submissions, and like some of them are just they don't even. They read the first page. It's like, oh yeah, here's the first page.
To be fair, if you can't hook somebody on the first page, you do have a problem with that first page.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what they say. They say that...
I got a few books I've had for almost a decade. I will try and get back to them from time and again, but the beginning is just so boring and so slow and so, banal. I just cannot keep going. I will keep trying. I'll keep trying. Maybe there's something wrong with me, but I still haven't gotten past that first chapter alone. It's just the prologue is like, oh God, just let a demon burst up out of the ground. Something happened. Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't want to read about somebody getting the mail. I can get the mail myself, and I can narrate as I do it.
Well, I mean, what's in the mail? It might be something good.
There's nothing. There's
nothing in it. There's no...
There are boring letters from boring people.
It's just bills.
Not even bills. It's like flyers and stupid things.
Maybe a bill from the Magic Utility Company saying you owe for your magic cut off.
It's a dwarf who's getting the mail, so dwarves are anti-magical, so there's nothing.
Is it like World of Warcraft mail? Like delivered by griffins?
No, it's Krynnish mail delivered by other dwarves.
Okay.
So, I try, and that's the thing though, is like these guys, they read the first page, and if it's not good enough, they do have a point. You gotta get that hook in there. You gotta get somebody's interest.
You gotta hook the people in, yeah.
First you get the hook to drag them in for the first couple chapters, and then they start to learn the characters, they learn nice subtleties, and the character's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep reading because I want to see what this character does, and then it doesn't matter if the hook was just like a little red herring, whatever. It's just something that gets you in and keeps you going for a little bit until you know the character. Well, I guess it's like the first 20 minutes of most horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Something, is like, okay, why are these teens, running around in skimpy clothes? Well, that's the hook that gets you watching until the murderer comes and starts packing them up a bunch. The bikini is the hook. So if you don't have your verbal bikini on the first page, you're losing them.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, and that can take a lot of different forms, though, so it's hard to say.
That's why I went with verbal bikini. I think it's such a wonderfully random phrase. It's almost meaningless. Because hook almost indicates like, oh yeah, you really got to get in there. But no, it just needs to be a little something to drag a person in for a little bit until they get to know the characters, and then the characters pick up the weight of, why do you keep reading the book? Well, the characters are awesome. I don't know. I wouldn't mind the characters at this point getting the mail. I just want to hear them and watch them do anything.
Okay.
But it has to be someone you care about doing something, absolutely worthless to keep you wanting to go. You got to like the character.
True. Yeah, true. And I don't know, NaNoWriMo, it's not necessarily about good writing. That's the thing. Yes, we talk about, what you got to do. You got to do this, you got to do that. But NaNoWriMo is just about writing. It can be. Just the character gets the mail every single day. What did I do today? I got the mail again. What did I do today? Oh, I checked the mail again. Nothing today. And you can do, it's... Oh,
I already formulated a plot for how that works.
What is it, 50,000 words?
Yeah, 50,010, judging by the amount of words you're supposed to do per day, and that gets you a little extra leeway just in case you missed off and the thing wasn't working properly.
Okay.
Also, chapter titles, don't properly apply for word count, so that allows you, okay, it says I'm at 50,000 words, but you forgot, that, you had 5 chapters, each with a 2-word title, so now you're short by 10 words. What are you going to do right at the end, 5 more times? That doesn't count either.
I like the thought that, your story is so succinct and so tight and so, every word matters that It's exactly.
I guess we're gonna have to get rid of some, contractions across here. Do not instead of don't. Okay. 9 more times.
Yeah. But yeah, the part about good writing comes after, when you take your 50 pages of the guy checking the mail, and you're like, okay, we can shrink this down, we can add a little bit at the front, we can throw in a love interest, and
Why does he check the mail at that time? Well, there's a lady checking the mail at the time, and hey, between you guys and me, there's a reason when I was working at my previous job why I would take a break at a certain time, is because a certain young lady was taking a break at the same time, and I got to spend time with her. And hey, that lady became my wife.
Oh, that's relief.
Hey, there's your happy ending. Didn't take 50,000 words there.
I was going to have to give her a phone call. Yeah, Ryan give the strange revelation about
that's
some
okay.
girl he was talking to.
That's okay, because I like to tell the story to my wife, and she doesn't realize that it's her until I mention it at the end.
Yes. So you've pulled that trick before. Anyways, okay,
yes,
so
yes.
NaNoWriMo.
That's my hook. That's my verbal bikini.
Is there anything else we wanted to talk about?
Well, there's a couple little bits for news and events going on. One is Wolverine is officially dead. The issue came out and everything's done, and it's being splattered up online. How he died, what he did, sort of thing. And
so everybody knows. So there is spoilers, but it's pretty much, it's an open...
It's a pretty big open
Everyone
thing.
knows.
Long story short, Wolverine saves the lives of 3 people, but in the process gets, sprayed with adamantium, and he winds up becoming encased, with adamantium.
He only saves 3 people dying?
Well, see, that's the interesting thing. A lot of people say it's very anticlimactic. Wolverine should have been up against, infinite odds, fighting all sorts of enemies, and gone out in a blaze of glory. On the other hand, there are some very good arguments about Wolverine's always being the loner character, the guy who really does the one person, difference. And that's really what he's largely been about, is saving the life of... I remember, a 4-issue arc of, Wolverine in the comics, where it's all about him trying to, save an abducted kid. Just one life.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what he does when he's, not part of the X-Men. He doesn't, save the world as just Wolverine. He's about, changing the one thing, doing this, helping the one person, sort of thing. Maybe a couple people. In this case, he saves 3 people, complete strangers. And so he manages to be, the complete loner, as he, prefers to be. So he's not working with, all of, the X-Men and, Alpha Flight and the Avengers are all, working, with Wolverine as he's fighting the Infinite Odd. No. Very closer, much more personal. Involves the Weapon X and more, adamantium bonding processes going on, where he fights against his creator. And he winds up, effectively becoming, an adamantium statue. Not with, his hair preserved and all that sort of thing, because it's, liquid adamantium. That stuff burns off in a second, man.
Okay, so no hair.
And Wolverine...
No
clothes? No. Although they don't show any genitals. Just the nature of how things go in comics. Claws are
they still like that in comics nowadays?
They definitely have distinct angles at which a person will be shown for a panel or 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Or sometimes, it is supposed to be full frontal, but it's a psychic, and the psychic is blocking your mind, so you can't actually see that part of them.
Oh, okay.
They have fun with it. They definitely take things into interesting styles. But here's the bit that gets me about the death of Wolverine. It seems as though they're definitely not going to be doing anything with Wolverine for at least 2 years. Wolverine's going to be dead for about 2 years because there's no plans, nothing publishing out in the horizon that mentions it. But the Wolverine comic series is going to continue. And so, what's Wolverine the comics, comic book series going to be about if Wolverine is dead? It's not just going to be 32 pages of what happens to his statue, right? Okay, maybe you could actually have an interesting thing.
That could be one issue.
That could make for an interesting one issue. Just from, his, statue sort of thing. It's just the front and center for each panel. It's everything going on around him.
Yeah,
so you could do some
bugs and stuff.
Well, people talking oh, we should be doing this with it. No, we should be doing it here. We should be trying this. And you only don't hear bits of the conversation because the focus is on the statue. Things come back, what people are doing as they're walking by, sort of thing, inspections and all that.
Just
and the life around it.
Speaking of statues, is Edmonton going to put up a statue of Wolverine?
Yes.
That's going to
happen. It will not be adamantium. It will probably not be in the style of his death pose.
Okay.
But, apparently they're putting up one.
Okay.
Life
okay.
size, so it's only 5'3". You save on a lot of metal that way.
All right, continue. Sorry.
So the question is, like, what are they going to be doing with the dang comic? And you know what? Seeing as how it involved the guy who put the adamantium into a skeleton the first time, I'm thinking Lady Deathstrike has a very good chance at taking a center stage in this one.
So Wolverine, the comic, becomes...
Like Wolverine Legacy. They'll just add like a legacy thing at the end there, and it becomes about the people that Wolverine's affected, probably with claws in their hands and all that.
So they probably already have a plan for that.
Well, they'd better have a plan for it, you know. You could have an interesting thing, you know, like, Wolverine has been known to play poker with, it'd be Nick Fury, Ben Grimm, and, Steve Rogers. Colonel Fury, the Thing, and Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you could have is them trying to find a fourth for the regular sort of games, you know, like who's got, you know, the military, you know, commando stuff, and who's got the right nature to actually go in with it. I'm thinking maybe the Red Hulk, General Thunderbolt Ross, could actually fit in decently. That's just probably for an end thing, but they could all, you know, be like, you know, like just telling stories about times they've had where, you know, they've okay, I want someone who's like this, because I remember one time me and Wolverine, we were off, fighting Skrulls or something like that, and they tell, you know, 3 small stories. And so I think that could be an interesting one there. So you could do a lot of flashback type stuff. You could really go into like Wolverine as Colonel Logan during World War II. Turn it for a little bit, at least for like a story arc, into like a World War II, you know, whatever title they had back then for the stuff, you know, like the Fighting Aces or back then, or Thunderbolts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's some interesting potential for a few arcs, but okay. Honestly, I do not anticipate Wolverine being dead for any longer than, say, late 2019, because of, you know, comic rights and likeness issues.
Okay, yeah.
They might do a few like back, you know, stuff to keep showing. Oh, hey, we published Wolverine as, you know, Logan as Wolverine, you know, like this. So now we keep the rights for another 7 years. But I think they're going to put him back in by about 2019, which is about 5 years. I believe things start lapsing after 7, so you want to make sure you've got that extra leeway time, just in case something happens, you don't get published on right there. It's a writer's slip, a schedule and all that. So, yeah, 2019 at the latest. But until then, you want to keep the series going. So Lady Deathstrike is the daughter of the guy who put the adamantium in Wolverine's skeleton, and, you know, Logan was assumed to have killed him. Turns out, no, you didn't kill him. So Lady Deathstrike's entire motive for becoming Lady Deathstrike and trying to kill Wolverine is, like, completely moot, because her dad was alive the entire time, and worst of all, he not once tried to contact her or let his own daughter know that he was still alive. So that kind of makes him a worse villain, you know, than Wolverine was in her eyes. So I think this is a very excellent opening opportunity for her to take a center stage in a comic book that gets some decent publication. It's in the top 10 for comic book sales every month. So that's definitely not why they're dropping the Wolverine title. Give her a chance to, you know, like, it's like, well, you know, I was wrong against, you know, Logan for, so many years. I guess I'll, you know, try and live up to his legacy and do good in his name. She'll become like Lady Wolverine or something. So I think there's some interesting potential going on there. There's a lot of sidekicks that Wolverine's had throughout the years. Jubilee, Shadowcat. Let's see, there's just a lot of, you know, like secondary, tertiary characters he's had. I would like to see them involve that. For those of you who have followed comics, go over to the Image and see that the Savage Dragon died, and he was dead for quite a long time. And they incorporated the other characters from the Savage Dragon universe into the title. And so it wasn't just about the Savage Dragon, you know, the police officer sort of thing. It was about the world of the Savage Dragon. Mm-hmm. And so I think they can do the same with Wolverine, and I don't like getting my hopes up, but I do believe there's a lot of good potential for what they can do here. Now that, Wolverine is not in center stage, have a story featuring these people going back and forth. Be like the Amazing Tales, how things used to be before Spider-Man took it all over and it was all about him, right? So make it more of an ensemble cast, little story here, little there, you know, have Jubilee team up with someone. Jubilee has been his, well, actually, she's in a lot of trouble now because she's a vampire and she was utilizing his blood to keep herself from, eating other people's blood. So now we have this horrible situation of Jubilee is a vampire, but her main blood source is no longer, producing blood. Well, she definitely can't fight through adamantium. So even if Wolverine's not dead, even if he's stuck there with, some sort of the healing factor kicked back in, due to emergency crisis, he's not providing blood for anyone. So I think there's some interesting stories that can be told by her. She doesn't have her own comic. Wolverine's not using his. Tell the story.
I see. Okay.
So I'm thinking it's definitely going to be something to watch for potential stories. If you're the kind of person that likes something a little bit more smaller and, not this is like several hundred issues in. Where am I supposed to start? I think this is something might want to watch for this sort of Wolverine style tale that doesn't actually have to feature Wolverine, and you have to know the first 100 episodes.
Okay.
So, knock on wood, I'm going to hold out high hopes that they're going to have a very interesting style with the book, and that's what I'm taking out of this news story of Wolverine's death, because I know it's not going to be permanent. When the heck is death ever permanent? They killed Johnny Storm off. It was for reals, yo, and then he came back like 18 months later.
Yeah.
To be fair, he came back pretty bad, or he was in the negative zone, and he was like kicking things. He had like a control rod, strapped to his forearm, and he wasn't just like, oh, I'm red with like cinder lines on me. He's like, I'm on fire style. I'm kind of an angry Johnny Storm. It didn't last. It never does last. But at least he came back looking kind of badass and different and stylish, right? At least for a little while, he was different, doing something different, doing something unique.
Yeah. So you think they'll bring back Wolverine and he'll look different?
He's looked different a few times, sort of thing. Maybe this time when he comes back, it really hurt his ability to actually grow hair. He won't have that Wolverine hairstyle all the time. He'll be bald. Wolverine will just be a bald guy now in the future. Maybe. Until, something happens, the healing factor kicks back in, and then sproing, hair comes back out to that certain length and doesn't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is something to think about. You know who else has hair grow to a certain length and doesn't go any further than that? Saiyans from the Dragon Ball universe. Is Wolverine full or partial Saiyan? That's for you to decide next month when you're writing your NaNoWriMo.
They do have, their hair looks similar in some ways.
Same with Beast too. Hank McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
There was an unofficial. It never got published, but there was a big plan to actually have it revealed that Hank McCoy was Wolverine, one of Wolverine's biological kids.
Although you know who else's hair grows to a certain length and then stops? Cats and some dogs. Although some dogs are shaggier.
But they have fur. It's not actually hair, so it works a little differently.
Oh, okay.
So unless Wolverine has some very interesting fur, you can't apply it to animals. You have to find other human or humanoid beings.
But dogs have to. Some breeds of dogs have to get haircuts.
That's because they've been bred to such horrible levels. It needs to happen. They have been broken on the very fur-based level.
And I guess Wolverines probably...
They have definitely fur.
Fur.
I looked this sort of stuff up. They got fur.
Yeah.
They do not have any fur pattern that describes Wolverine's hairstyle, so there's not much we can do on that for a connection.
Yeah.
He was just named after the Wolverine because he was short, vicious, and bitter.
Okay.
So, but good potential news. If Wolverine does come back, maybe they'll loosen some of the restrictions and he can actually smoke a cigar again. He hasn't been allowed to smoke a cigar in a very long time. About 10 years or so, I believe, because kids read comic books. You don't want them. It's like, oh, hey, look, Wolverine smokes a cigar. Forget cigarettes, I'll just move straight to the stogie. Because, apparently kids can just get a hold of a cigar anytime they want, right?
Yeah, I feel like our society, smoking is way down. And I feel like at some point it'll be kids won't even consider. They'll see, and it might even be this current, generation of kids who see a cigarette in a comic book and say, well, okay, yeah, he smokes cigarettes. So that doesn't make me want a cigarette. So I think we're almost there, but...
Well, that's the thing, though. Out of all the stuff that Wolverine does, that is incredibly lethal. Jumps off buildings, falls in front of vehicles, smashes through plane glass, fights a dozen ninjas a minute. And the one thing that people say, hey, kids might try and copy this because he's doing it and he's awesome, is smoking.
Yeah, because that's accessible to them, or in theory it could be.
I'm fairly certain a lot of kids have tried to jump off a roof because they were wearing a Superman costume. So if Wolverine's doing these horrible, horrible things, left, right, and center, and surviving it, because he's Wolverine, doesn't, the cigar smoking thing just seem like such a, nothing in comparison? It's like, yeah. He smokes a cigar because his lungs heal. Why? Because he grows a new set every week, because they keep getting ripped out of his chest.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, the kids might be too young to, but yeah, no, with Wolverine, we're not talking about young kids, because this is a,
Wolverine
PG-13
comics,
comic.
definitely not for someone who, well, I could say maybe over the age of 10, you could have them read it without too much, because a lot of times the blood thing is a stylized, black splatter pattern sort of thing. It doesn't really have the same resonance as real blood and gore, like this kind of stuff that got Tales from the Crypt taken off the store shelves back in the day. So, but yeah, you definitely don't want like a 6-year-old reading some of the Wolverine comics. There's topics Wolverine delves into that just don't exactly mesh well with like what kids understand. So,
yeah. Okay, yeah. So Wolverine dead.
Dun dun dun.
Did we have another news topic?
Well, there's been something. I suppose that'll segue into what we've been doing this week.
Oh, okay.
The Flash TV series is out.
Yay!
This will be wind up being this next Tuesday, being this third episode. I decided to hold off initially because not all of the stuff I watch for the DC things catches my interest. I tried Smallville back in the day. I watched a couple seasons. It wasn't that bad. Never really got much into Arrow, and I tried watching Gotham. And I like what they did with the Riddler. I like the new backstory for, Catwoman. Really hope they both wind up becoming, canon backstories. Just didn't catch me. I mean, when it's on tomorrow, if it's on, I might watch it, but it's basically like flip a coin sort of thing. Heads, I'll wind up watching it. Tails, I wind up doing something else. So, I was like, well, maybe The Flash isn't something I'm going to watch, but you know what? It's caught my attention. I'm liking it. I'm liking where it's going. The special effects are sweet, and it's so good it caught my daughter's attention. For her, any superhero is Batman, including one tomato that, the green sprig at the top looked kind of like a Batman sort of insignia, maybe a little bit. She thought that was Batman. She pointed at the tomato, Batman! So for her, Batman equals superhero. But when she saw The Flash last week, she said, ooh, wow, as he's running around. And that's The Flash. And he goes, The Flash! So this is clearly something that's becoming so very well done. A young kid before the age of 2 can get it straight into her head. The Flash! So
cool.
I think that definitely says they're clearly marketing the character and the essence of the character well. If a 2-year-old or almost 2-year-old can perceive it properly and see this is what he is, he runs and he's got like the sparkle, like the lightning line behind him and the speed blur lines. That's the Flash. And then anytime he did the running thing and everything's going slow around him, she's the Flash. So she was able to get that quick. So they've really encapsulated the core essence of who the Flash is. And
guy who runs fast, awesome.
Well, not just runs fast, sort of thing. He's got tricks he does, sort of thing, and he fights fun villains, and the villains have been pretty darn decent. I think I've caught most of the name drops. I caught Simon Stagg, who I won't spoil that. If you don't know Simon Stagg, you're not missing a heck of a lot. But it is an interesting name to say. Oh, hey, yeah, I know Mr. Stagg from Stagg Industries. There was an empty gorilla cage with the name Grodd marked on it. So there's definitely some indication of Gorilla Grodd, one of the Flash's weirdest and best villains. A mind-controlling gorilla, hooray! He can speak too. So how will they play that one? I think that might be worth watching. Everything's better with gorillas, right? So that's my thing is it's out, it's getting good traction, which is kind of a not pun intended sort of thing for the Flash. And I think it's going to wind up being one to pay attention to. My wife's already heard a few people mentioning that they're watching it in the Philippines. So it's getting global attention. So this might just be the big thing that I mean, Marvel clearly owns the silver screen when it's coming to movies. The Green Lantern movie, I like Ryan Reynolds. I don't think the problems was with Ryan Reynolds in the movie. I think there were some deeper problems than he could have solved. But it didn't do too well. But the Marvel movies, they're just, money, 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 man. Mm-hmm. It's just like, make it rain. It's coming down. Mm-hmm. Avengers makes $1 billion. And DC is just having a hard time getting anyone to like Wonder Woman. It's like, she's not big and bulky enough. Her costume isn't colorful enough. She's not ready to this. How dare they get, like Ben Affleck as, the next Batman. I thought it was supposed to be a Superman movie. What's going on with all these characters in here? They can't get the fans to just get, it's like, dude, we got a train going. This is going to be like the Justice League train. We're going this way. They can't get the fans on board. So, as much as I would like to see the big movies for both of the comic companies, Marvel is clearly owning the silver screen, but I think with stuff like The Flash, if it keeps firing on all cylinders, it'll own the small screen. This will potentially be a nice revolution. Maybe DC says, you know what, we're going to cut our losses. You guys can keep the, the $1 billion, once every 5 years. We're going to have something on all the major networks. Everyone's going to be watching our heroes for 4 nights a week, or an hour each night. They're going to be getting so many more superhero hours. We are really going to cement ourselves in the mindset. Your heroes are going to mean nothing because they're not going to be on par with our heroes because we are iconic superheroes. We are DC. So that's where I'm hoping it goes. If they play their cards right, it could always flop. You never know how this stuff goes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fingers crossed, though. That was one of my big things this weekend, so that's how we're going to seg into what we're doing this week.
Okay, yeah, sure.
What else I did this week is I made an underground town in Minecraft.
Sweet.
Okay. I've had a plan for trying to do that, and then I was so disheartened when I found out you had to have, light shining down for, people to, we'll start producing citizens down here.
Like daylight from the surface.
Yeah. You can't just have a sufficient amount of torchlight. It's not like trees growing. You can't do the same with villagers. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I made, shafts in the ground. So I think I got 4 shafts, and there's, doorways that lead out into these shafts. And I think I've done rather nice. It's got a nice little, I had stairs for a nice little encroaching feeling around the whole thing, so it doesn't feel like it's just a pure shaft, because right up at the top it kind of crouches in, and then you've got the sand on top, because it's all in the desert. That's where I'm working these days.
Okay.
And then I put the entire area above it, just cactuses as high density as you can possibly get. One every other square sort of thing.
Yeah, so like a checkerboard pattern.
Exactly. And so I don't have to worry about any monsters spawning and falling their way down and just suddenly eating all my villagers down there.
Yeah, good thinking.
And I'm thinking it's looking pretty badass myself. So mission accomplished. I'm going to wind up delving it down further, making it a bit more deeper, more big population. I don't know how big I'm going to make the cactus forest around it, but I want it to be big and imposing. But I've got something that is working, and I'm quite happy with that. So hooray! That was my 2 big things. I've been a little under the weather this week, so I haven't been able to do as much reading as I would have wanted, and I haven't been able to do as everything I've been wanting. So I've just been sitting down and watching some cartoons here and there. But those were my 2 big things. It's like, oh boy, Dayquil. Now I'm going to take the entire south end of this island, flatten it down, and then I'm going to build something underneath it. Because that's what you do on Dayquil, apparently. Mm-hmm. That's what I do on Dayquil. So how about you, though, Josh? What have you been doing this week?
My week has been a lot of Minecraft. I did catch 1 episode. I've been meaning to at least try Gotham and some of the other TV shows that are coming up. So I did. I watched 1 episode of Gotham. I like the Penguin character.
I think he's got a lot of potential. I do think that they're going to have some interesting Q&As about his weight.
Yeah, because, he's a young guy in this show.
But the stuff that they show for the advertisements, right, like before there was Batman, before there was Catwoman, there was a Gotham, and it shows them, and then it shows who they become later on. And in that one, the Penguin, he's not the heavy-set Penguin we all know and love. a little stocky, got kind of like a dwarven feel to him. Like he's got decent broad shoulders. He does not feel like a rotund man. He feels like just like a stocky, like I could really hurt you sort of guy.
Okay.
So there might be some issues about like what you do in DC. First you got rid of Amanda the Waller and replaced her with someone who looks like Halle Berry. What's going on with all this thing? Like, can't you have a person of like overweight and still have them be badass? So that is my biggest issue with him. Other than that, I am really liking the character.
Your biggest issue is that he's too skinny.
My biggest issue is that it may be perceived that DC is phasing out any heavy-set character whose powers aren't strictly related to their weight.
Oh, I see. Well, could it be, though, it might just be they don't want a heavy guy just being the villain. Like,
there's a lot of villains in Gotham. Admittedly, like you could make a list and have it shorter by saying all the people who are not villainous in Gotham, because that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm digging the mayor. I really like the mayor. What's his face? He was in Spin City. He's usually known for his comic roles. In this case, take away the laugh track, and his intense sort of like stare becomes actually a little unnerving. So I think he's going to have some good roles for that actor coming up, because he's showing his chops there.
Yeah, I should look up I'll put the name in the show notes, because I'm drawing a blank now too.
But he has a very recognizable face, doesn't he?
I should know his name.
As soon as you saw him, you go, oh, it's that guy.
It's that guy.
Yeah. But he's known for his comedic roles and all that, and his big, happy, goofy smile sort of thing, and it's like, no. You take away the smile, you keep the stare just directly at you, no laugh track, and things start feeling very intense. So I'm digging him as a corrupt mayor.
Cool. Yeah. So, well, I'll tell you my issue with it.
Oh, okay.
The show. I think the villain they had in this week's Villain of the Week or whatever, he was a hired killer. He was just I think he shows up only for the first time at the beginning of the episode, and by the end of the episode, spoilers, they get him. They get him at the end of it.
And that would be James Gordon, the police officer.
Yeah,
not
James
Commissioner Gordon.
And his buddy who becomes
Bullock.
Two-Face.
Oh.
No.
Oh, it's his buddy who becomes Two-Face in this
Isn't
one.
that...
maybe
I was wrong about that. But who is
the
his
big
partner?
scruffy guy?
Yeah, that's not Harvey Dent.
I thought that was Harvey Bullock.
Okay. Oh, that's why I got it wrong.
Harvey Bullock is
two characters.
In this case, he seems to be a corrupt cop, but Harvey Bullock has always had the allegations of being a corrupt cop about him, but he's honestly like a rough cop with a heart of gold. He'll take a bribe if it doesn't mean anything bad's going on, but he'll wind up giving the money to like a decent source, or not blowing it on stupid things like drugs.
Okay, so I got that wrong, but Harvey...
You kind of have to know the Harvey Bullock character to see him in it. He's not usually such a bearded, scruffy guy.
Okay.
But
not so bearded usually.
Well,
usually less of a beard.
Well, he's a stocky kind of guy and all that. Sometimes played as though like how did this guy even make it into the police force? But then again, it's the Gotham police force. These guys are like a joke amongst things. Like when Gotham City in the comics, like, oh no, earthquake happens, Gotham City's reduced to like a danger zone and like gets walled off from the rest of America because stupidness. James Gordon tries to, I'll go work at, another, place. And no, nobody else will take a cop from Gotham. They are either corrupt to the bone or a laughingstock. James Gordon cannot be commissioner of police anywhere else in the, the DC universe, police force, because everyone sees him as a laughing joke. He does nothing. Batman does all his work for him. He just sits around and take the criminals when they get beat up enough. So he has to go back to Gotham. He's got nowhere else to go.
Couldn't he just retire?
Too young for a pension at this point.
Oh, I guess, yeah, in the timeline of the show that's on now in Gotham, yeah. He's too young.
Heck, I think even in standard continuity, he's still considered too young, even for early retirement.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Whatever timeline that is, I don't know what age we're in or what.
Well, the thing is, a lot of cops in Gotham can take early retirement because they also take bribes.
Is New 52 considered a new age of comics? Is that how that works?
It'll wind up being considered like a distinct era for comics. Like they have Bronze Age, Silver Age, Gold Age of comics.
Yeah.
This will wind up being the New 52 age, for better or worse.
Yeah. Although, like, Bronze Age I know it applies to DC, but does it also apply to Marvel too?
Yes. Like Marvel, for instance, didn't have a golden age because it wasn't around that far back.
Okay.
It started around the Silver Age, and that is one of the things that people say is so different between the two. Without the golden age pedigree there, the characters just don't seem so iconic. They seem much more people instead of like big name from 60, 70 years ago, looming, it's his shadow above.
So yeah, the bad guy in this particular episode was like some assassin guy, and he was trying to kill the mayor.
But he's not from like the League of Assassins.
I don't know. Could have been, but they didn't mention anything like that. They like.
Well, if he got offed, he's probably not League of Assassin material. So.
No, but he had this really dumb weapon, and like, I mean, I guess the show is not necessarily for me, so I don't know.
What weapon was it? What was he doing?
Okay, they're like two basically pens.
Okay.
Like, and then you lock them together like
Penchucks?
Yeah, it almost looks like nunchucks, except there's no like no chain between them. So there's these, and they're bigger than pens. I guess they're more like
small tonfas.
Probably 8 inches each, 8 inches long, and then like you could hold them in your hand. And then like the haft of a knife or something, right?
Oh, okay.
And then you click them together, and then you twist them, and then so it's kind of this neat, like, I like the clicking sound that it makes. Like, that's something about, like, Gotham. It's got this feel to it. It's got the sounds and the clicks and the rain or whatever.
The sounds of urban decay.
Yeah, and it's all like how things kind of click together and they scrape against each other, sort of that. But yeah, so he clicks it. So I guess it is kind of a Gotham-y weapon. But I thought it was just really dumb because
then he's got like one like double long pen blade thing.
Well, the next thing he does is he goes up. Is this a spoiler? I don't think it's a spoiler, but
it's a villain of the week. He dies, man. Not much for spoilers.
Well, the guy he kills towards the beginning of the show is just some councilman, like some politician who's going to vote the wrong way or something like that. So the way he kills him is he has his weapon, and he hands it to the politician, and he says, "Oh, I'm a constituent. I want you to see my invention." And it's a spyglass. He says, "Oh, it's a spyglass. You look through it." And so it doesn't look like a spy. At least not to me. It doesn't look like a spyglass.
That's the thing. If it's a spyglass, it's not supposed to look like a spyglass.
Well, no, I mean spyglass as in like the
mini binoculars, telescope
thing. So the politician's like, "Oh, okay, I'll put it up against my eye. Okay, I don't see anything." And then it shoots like a knife blade into his eye. And
that is very limited use.
And I was thinking, like, I mean, it's got that aesthetic to it. It's very cool. It's like oh, like got him right in the eye. Oh man, like.
Well, that's their different eye scream sort of terror sort of thing going on.
That's a whole trope of its own.
It's
doing things to the eyes. But I mean, if you think about it, just stab the guy. You're in the parking lot with him anyways, like a dark, parking garage or wherever they are.
You could have a piece of like other creepier things than like a blade going into your eyeball, sort of, because that won't just automatically kill you, sort of thing. That's like you bleed out over the course of 4 hours. You get to the hospital and you wind up with an eye patch for the rest of your life, but you're still perfectly alive.
It might miss his brain. Yeah.
A very bad assassin weapon.
It's not efficient at all.
What you could do though is have like some sort of powdered anthrax and really hype up the creepiness of it as the guy, like tosses them down and open up a manhole sewer and toss you down in there as the guy's trapped down there, like I'm dying slowly over the course of like a day as he's like melting skin, melting all because it's like super anthrax because hey, Gotham, things are worse than ever, and bodies melting off him, and that would have been pretty scary.
And then I was thinking, like, why doesn't this assassin guy, he's, like, really cool. He's, like, he's got it all together. He's, like, sneaky, and he's, like, a professional assassin. He's, like, killing people and getting away with it and everything. And then, so I'm like, okay, well, maybe because of that, maybe he has a professional thing against guns or something. It's like, for some reason, he doesn't carry a gun. But then when he runs into Commissioner Gordon, or whatever, Lieutenant, what's his name? Gordon?
Officer
Gordon at the time. He runs into him, and he drops his gun somewhere, like the Gordon, because I guess he's inexperienced.
Gordon always drops his gun. You expect to see a lot of that.
Yeah. So the assassin is like, oh, a gun. He takes the gun, and now he's using it, and he's shooting, and he's like an expert, right? He's like using it against locks and stuff. You'd think, like, if he's so good with guns that he's able to, like, you know, but I guess it's just comic movie. But yeah, you'd think if he's so good at guns, he would own a gun and kind of, you know, that would be one of his tools. But I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is guns for fun, you know, sort of thing. They're good tools. I mean, you need to open a door. A gun's a great tool in the movies for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you want to kill somebody, dude, I mean, really, a gun? Why don't you just stab them with two pens?
Yeah, or a knife contraption thing that shoots a knife that you have to trick them into
spring-loaded, yeah, knife blade. See, now, when you said that they click together, what I was imagining next was that he pulls them apart and it's like a mono blade sort of thing, you know, a monomolecular blade, and then you just it's like get someone from behind, plants his knee on their spine, and just pulls back, and head comes off.
Yeah, well, and I like those
like cheese.
I like those kind of like sneaky weapons, like ninja weapons, because they sort of you sneak them through an area where, like, oh, they frisked him for guns, but oh, he didn't have a gun.
Look at this nerd. He's got a pocket protector. Oh my god, this guy is such a wuss.
Yeah.
No, two pens come out, locked together, click. Monomolecular blade. All of a sudden, limbs start flying everywhere.
That's how you do it.
And then once he's done, because, you know, you got the head off, you chop the hands off, you know, and all that, so you don't get the fingerprints. Dump the rest of the body wherever you want, and then just go incinerate the head and hands.
Well, I mean, it's Gotham, so you might just get away with the murder, just whatever.
They find the body like 3 months later when they're finally getting around to cleaning that bad dark alleyway.
Although, I guess, I mean, because this episode, like, a bunch of, like, I think just 2, like, city councilors did. So they're important people, and the police are like, well, I guess we gotta, you know, investigate and whatever. This is, like, our job, so we'll do it.
Oh, fine. If I have to investigate the crimes that happen in my jurisdiction, I guess I will.
Yeah, and even Gordon, it doesn't seem that enthusiastic about it. I mean, he does want to
They're probably all corrupt politicians, so it's not like anyone really wants to solve it. It's like, one less corrupt person.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think they each had ties to opposite crime families or something like that.
Well, dude, it's Gotham before Batman starts up the crime wars. The Falcones are everywhere.
Yeah,
and they're just one of the crime families. They're the one big one that managed to survive, like, against Batman for a while. There was a lot of others before.
Yeah, and then so there was that bad guy, and there was the Penguin, who was I actually really enjoyed his acting and his, like,
I think that actor has some decent potential for his future there. Yeah. I don't know how much I'll watch of him in Gotham, but you know what? I think they got some good characters, some good actors, and if they can get everything firing, you know, together, I might be able to get back and watch it and really get into it. Otherwise, it's just not. There's just no hook for it for me, really.
And my least favorite character in the show is probably Bruce Wayne at this point. But that might change. I don't know. He might do something awesome that will, you know, get me on his side. But right now, he's like, every time I see Bruce Wayne on camera, I'm like, I don't want to. And I'm more interested in the bad guys, like, in a lot of cases.
To be fair, that's kind of like the mark of a good Batman villain is you really want to know more about.
That's Gotham City for you. Yeah. And yeah, Gordon too is like you kind of, but he's also like, come on.
I like the concept of an honest cop trying to survive in the most corrupt city that, you know, goes beyond. I mean, I'll say this here: the New Orleans police force are known as the most corrupt cops in America. Okay. It's an acknowledged.
Hopefully, none of them are listening. No, I hope they are listening.
Well, that's the thing is I'm sure there are honest cops there, but.
They would be the ones who listen to our podcast would be the honest ones.
Well, I suppose unless they're like, geez, I just can't take a bribe unless I listen to a podcast. So, you know, like, here, let me pop something into my one earbud.
Or they're like their redemption, their atonement.
Okay. I do this sort of stuff. You know, I accept the bribes. I look the other way when they're smuggling the drugs. I listen to local podcasts. So I listen to the small guys. I don't listen to the big ones.
Well, we're not.
Locals in North America. And they don't go.
Local as in, like,
on the same continental landmass.
Wait, how many miles away is Louisiana from here?
Many miles. But
1,000?
But no, they are officially and demonstrably the most corrupt police force in America.
Okay.
But But apparently they've got nothing compared to Gotham cops. It's like you take like, oh yeah, you want to show how bad things can be. You know, the New Orleans cops, they look like saints compared to the Gotham cops.
Well, I wonder if there's probably countries like, I would imagine.
There are numerous countries where the police
Burmese cops are probably pretty bad.
They're considered just thugs in a really cohesive uniform.
Yeah.
But in America, which is a nice method of saying, okay, well, how bad are the cops in Gotham City? Well, when the New Orleans cops get too bad and they have to get kicked out because they're just too corrupt for New Orleans, they go to Gotham. That's pretty bad.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, the concept of like an honest cop trying to survive in that sort of environment, I think that alone could play very well. But, if you're going to call the place Gotham, you might as well have crazy killers, right? So, there's that. You got to do that.
Well, I don't know about honest. I mean, yes, he's honest, but also, like, I think he's not willing to
realistically
kill
honest?
Because he was like, I think he had the chance to kill the Penguin, and he's like,
yeah, that would be
I'm
in
not
like the first
murderer.
episode, so it's like, blam, fire the weapon up in the air and just shove him into the water.
Yeah, and because he's not a murderer, so...
No. But here's the thing, is a lot of interpretations for Gotham, the police force is also recognized as like the enforcers for the crime families. Like the Falcones, they have, their thugs, they have their officers, and they're on the same ranking of their, organized crime chart.
Yeah.
I suppose the lieutenants would wind up being the same as the lieutenants, depending on it, and they are really portrayed as just like corrupt to the point of almost farcical. If it wasn't so depressing, it's like, oh, I would hate to live there. It'd just be like, there's no hope, man. You can't even trust the cops. So.
Yeah. So that was one thing I did, and I played some more Minecraft. What did I do in Minecraft? I did a whole bunch of mapping, so very tedious, but ultimately
personally rewarding.
Yeah, I ended up with some nice little maps in a map house, and I'm mapping a brand new area of the world. I think I mentioned before that I had...
Yes, your many kilometer trek.
Yes. So I'm in a new area, and so I'm sort of mapping it out. I'm looking for, now that I found the savannah, I'm like, awesome, found the savannah.
Savannas are a nice place to be.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I'm making good use of the wood, the trees that I found there, because they're a different color. But the next thing I want to find is that mesa.
Mesas are nice places, too. That said, it would be nice if they had some good climbing gear.
Yeah, that would be good for Minecraft.
And it's not like the code isn't...
ladders, I suppose.
Well, it's not like the code doesn't exist in there. You just would wind up utilizing a pick of some form, plus a few pieces of rope to make, or spiders, web to make the whole darn thing. And you utilize the same climbing ability as the spider while you've got it, as your active item sort of thing. And it degrades slowly as you use it. Because, the mesas are nice, but it's really hard to get up there. And the amplified biomes are just so visually amazing. But you can't get anywhere on the regular mode. You have to be in creative mode to fly around and take a look at the darn thing.
Yeah,
so something like proper climbing gear would probably get either a lot of downloads or be very well received by the Minecraft public.
Yeah.
Hint, hint for you coders out there. Hint, hint.
There's coders listening. So I think that's about what I...
Definitely make cave splunking a little safer, too, I know how to think about it.
Yeah, if you could catch yourself.
So, I'm only slowly falling. Now I can climb back up again.
Yeah.
So, that would be nice. Of course, you couldn't do too much with that while you're there. It's like, oh boy, now that I'm here, let's see where I am down here, so I'll move over and put a torch. No, I'm falling again. Whoops. Down, dead. Oh, well.
Yep. All right, well, that's what we've been up to.
We do have a main topic.
Yes, we covered what we've both been up to. And we're moving on to the main topic. Main topic.
Well, it's Halloween coming up, so we decided we're going to talk about something really scary, which is clowns. Not scary for me, as I mentioned earlier on the iteration here, but apparently clowns are like one of these scary things. They're so scary that, I mean, you can dress up as one for Halloween and people don't think twice. It's like, oh, why don't you just dress up as Santa Claus? Oh, that's scary.
Okay.
And Santa could legitimately be scary. He's watching you while you're sleeping.
I mean, clowns
be good for goodness sake.
Aren't necessarily scary. I know there's... Well, I'd like to do a survey, but I suspect that it's not the majority of people. I suspect it's less
do
than
believe
50%
there's a
of
large
people believe.
minority, a large enough minority of that, and it's powerful enough in that minority.
But the idea is out there that clowns are scary, yeah.
Well, I can understand some of the concepts. I mean, the fake face, the artificial smiles, definitely hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Pagliacci, to be classy for a moment, was clearly about a man who made the rest of the world laugh, but he was crying himself. Because he's Pagliacci, the crying clown, and while he could make the entire world happy, it was all just a fake mask, that he was wearing to hide his own pain and depression. So I think a lot of people can see that in the average clown. It's like, nobody's that happy. Not really. What do you hide,
the average
clown?
Like, yeah.
And then you've got stuff like, Stephen King's It, where the clown is just, like really a false front for an evil, horrible, like alien entity.
So this is what's weird about clowns, is that they're intended to be sort of happy and joyous and stuff like that. And you're saying, oh, but no, there's a sinister side to them. Is it the case that clowns have this nature already in them, or is it simply that people have decided that they're going to take something that's so pure and happy and joyous, and they're going to use that as the basis for something?
Well, there are some
like
people
Stephen
who do
King.
just that, who take like something, I'll take something from that's like A and I'll make it like B.
Yeah.
Like I've seen Cthulhu in, like cut off shorts and a tank top. It's like, dude, Cthulhu should not be, considered sexy. What the heck are you doing? So there are people out there who take, something that, it's supposed to be this way, I'll make it designed the other way. Just to throw you for a loop sort of thing. And so, yeah, there is always that going to occur, the people, doing the juxtaposition. But I believe, have you heard of people that don't like Alice in Wonderland? Like, we'll go with just the Disney movie for it.
That don't like it. I mean, I guess I've heard criticisms of it.
There are some people that find it to be an incredibly scary thing. As like equivalent to watching a person suffer from dementia and schizophrenia. As all reality is breaking down around her and things are going crazy. They don't see it as a wonderful, joyous, romp through wonderful wordplay and fun creatures and historical allusions to various people and states of mind of its day.
I wonder if that has anything to do with like what people sort of believe in. Like, if you sort of think that it's possible, like if you are unbalanced enough to think that it might be real, because as long as you realize it,
Well, Alice is a young woman who's going
okay.
through weird stuff, and things keep changing on her, and nothing stays the same very long. And so some people see that they see that as an equivalency to going insane. Or, from suffering like loneliness, depression, loss. And there's a lot of people that say different things about it. Like, because nothing stays still, for everything's changing and chaotic, there's no, like, stable ground for her to be under. Mm-hmm. She's lost in every sense of the term.
Yeah, and I guess some people see that as a very freeing and, like, that's why you read fiction, that's why you like fantasy. Because
some people see it as
free and you're...
Well, they see it as the depths of horror. It's like to be so far gone and lost, and so they empathize with her feelings there, and it just becomes like this horrible nightmare story. Mm-hmm. And so I think clowns operate the same way in that people see that it's makeup that's what they're wearing for the smile, and that's not a regular suit. It's a costume they're wearing. It's a mask they're putting on. And so they don't see it as like, I'm here to represent, jolly and, frivolity and happiness and weird, wacky physical humor. They see it as, I am wearing a mask and I am hiding something. I'm giving you the appearance of happiness. What you are seeing is just what I'm giving out. There's something else within inside of me. And so then they put in their own things like, what could a person be hiding? And they say, it's horrible stuff, and like, bad things, and like, oh my God, it's not even human. It's a demon really in there. Oh.
Okay.
And so I think they focus more on the appearance and the mask than what the clown is supposed to represent.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's supposed to represent sort of a letting go of reality and allowing yourself to sort of play, like whether
Effectively,
you're a child or
a cartoon before cartoons could exist is what clowns were meant to be.
And it opens up the world where, you don't have to live by the rules and anything's possible.
Oh, you got hit by seltzer water, ha ha ha. Or, oh, look, 13 people came out of this tiny car. How crazy is that? How can 13 people fit inside the tiny car? I won't spoil for you how they do it. So I think that's a lot of the reason why they have stuff like Pennywise the Clown. It's like, oh my goodness, I guess spoiler alert, it's an evil alien being that sucks souls. Maybe like a demonic being, alien being. I'm not entirely certain as to what it's supposed to be. Definitely not a natural, wholesome entity. Definitely 7 shades of crazy.
Well, so why did that alien got to choose its form, right? Like it chose the form of a clown?
I believe it's partially psychic, so it manages to have some fun with it too, because it's got a warped sense of humor.
Yeah, or did it...
And it was using that to appeal to kids, because it wanted kids, and it's like, oh, hey, your boat fell down here in the storm drain. Come, reach your hand in and, try and grab it. And I can't get it up. And then, next thing you know, the little kid's lost his arm. It got ripped off. And so he was trying to be the clown in that sense to make the kid, lower his guard.
Well, I'm wondering too if because you're saying it's a psychic, and so it's
definitely something on that powers, yeah.
And then maybe that it's not even that it's trying to appeal to kids, so it chooses the clown form. It's just appealing to the first person who encounters it, and that happens to be a kid, and the kid projects its own,
who's okay with clowns,
fears or happiness or joys and fears, combination of that.
I'm fairly certain that the kid liked clowns, sort of thing, and so he plays as a clown. And then after, it's like, hey, you know what? The clowns are kind of funny, creepy, and people get really freaked out by them. So now I'll be a clown. Now I'll be a clown with horrible teeth. Now I'll be a clown with an evil dog head. Because crazy.
It's similar to Ghostbusters too, because remember the. Was it Gozer who took the form of the Stay Puft Marshmallow? It's the first thing they thought
That was the Destructor form. In this case, I don't think Pennywise was technically limited to that form. It's just a preferred form.
Okay.
Pennywise not even being the name, just a clowny name, right? Pennywise, pound foolish.
Yeah.
So in that case, I think it was just, now that I'm in this form, and people can recognize me this way, and that way all I have to do is show up, and they get already frightened and creeped out by me, I guess I'm going to stick with this. Inertia.
Yep.
Some other people also see, the false, humor presented, as another way of symbolizing, insanity or mental instability. It's not true happiness, because you can't be that happy all the time. You can't be that happy on command. But clowns got to be happy and jolly, sort of thing. And so people see that as false emotions, as one of the clear signs of insanity. It's like you have no reason to be happy, yet you're incredibly happy. And so it links it in with all the non-proper emotions for the proper time, sort of thing.
What about slapstick? What about
the physical humor that the clowns display? Well, that leads itself very much to violence. You get rid of the laughter afterwards, and you crack somebody in the, you kick them in the butt with your giant oversized clown shoe, and they go tumbling, round and around and around and around until they hit a post. If that wasn't a person doing that sort of thing as a professional, tumbler and all that, you could shatter your neck. You could have serious brain damage from the whole thing, depending on how you hit the post. But everyone laughs and the person gets up again, and it's all funny. So just by getting rid of the smiles and the laughter from the situation, things get intense, things get scary, things get nasty.
But we have we almost have Fight Club could be that sort of and a lot of modern films, especially
don't
violent
talk about
ones.
Fight Club, remember?
I'm thinking modern violent movies can have that sort of aspect of clowning to them, in that there is very violent action, and yet we're all like, it's just a movie, and I don't know where I'm going with that.
Well, the Three Stooges, I think, epitomize that. I mean, if you were to do to me what the Stooges did to each other, and we were not practiced in it, if you don't know your Stooge food to properly hit, in that spot, just under between the eye and the eyebrow, that's where they actually hit when they were doing the eye poke. And they were good at that. I mean, there's a reason why it's called Stooge food. You got to be really well practiced to come in on somebody really quick and get them right in the air, right in the proper area, just to make it look like, you poked him in the eye, and they're, my eyes.
Well, this is why I brought up Fight Club again. I know I'm not supposed to talk about Fight Club.
You are so not getting invited back to the next meeting.
You know what? I'd be okay with that as long as I can watch the next Fight Club movie. Fight Club 2, Electric Boogaloo.
But no, they collapsed civilization, so there's no electric.
Okay.
Yeah. Bad news. Civilization starts crumbling. Most power plants have like a 4-hour expectancy before they crash.
So it's Fight Club 2, Beyond Thunderdome.
Pretty much, yeah. That's a much better and much more apt version of it.
But yeah, because I mean, it's kind of very brutal violence, but it's
played for humor.
It's over the top, right? It's yeah, okay.
Like a Luke Cage movie, or sorry, like a Nick Cage movie, sort of thing.
Oh,
his stuff. Nicolas Cage, when he does his violent stuff, because he works so weirdly intense about it, and when he gives you crazy eyes, those are crazy eyes. This is a man who has seen the face of insanity, and he smiled back at it.
Yeah, or is he just a weird-looking person? But okay.
No. From what I've seen, this man has experienced some tragedy in his life, and he's learned
to... You can see it in his eyes. Okay.
He can let. Well, I mean, you've heard Mark Hamill laugh and do like the Joker laugh, right? Yeah. He was the voice of the Joker. Yeah, Mark Hamill has seen some sorrow. He's seen some trying times, and he's been able to work that out into a crazy man laughter.
Okay, all right.
So
I thought it was just them being good actors, but
that's the thing is you can't be a good actor if you don't have something to work with. Okay. If a person has only ever experienced a wonderful life, how can they truly portray a tragic person who's...
I think it should be possible.
It's possible, but they're not going to give as good a performance as somebody who has firsthand experienced the tragedy and knows little things, knows how close, knows where it hits them in their mental psyche. Like, I've lost my spouse. How much that would, just absolutely cripple a person, as opposed to someone who's never had a serious relationship at all. They like a 3-week sort of thing, and then dump.
Well, but like, how many people are there in the world, out there, who just never experienced loss or relationships or emotion? I think everybody has that
to some degree,
some level.
But you have to, especially if you're going to wind up being a top quality actor or actress, you have to, experience it and then analyze it as you're experiencing it, sort of thing. So I believe, Mark Hamill, after he was Luke Skywalker, he had a really hard time getting work, so he knows some hard times himself. He could always make ends meet by going to a convention and being Luke Skywalker for a little while, but for a while it looked like he might just be Luke Skywalker the rest of his life, and then, hey, got a little voice acting work here, a little voice acting work there, fun bits here and there, and all of a sudden he's able to change who he was, so things got better. So I bet you he could also play a person that really knows what it's like to finally see hope on the horizon. I think him as an actor, he could portray that so much more convincingly because he knows what it's finally like to live. You're like, oh, I'm going to wind up being this person for the rest of my life. Why did I choose that role? It's going to be like this forever. And then finally things get better, and it's like, oh. So he could portray it so much more convincingly than you and I could. Not just because he's a professional actor, but because he's had those hard times and then finally seen the glory of hope in his life again.
Okay.
So I think like Nicolas Cage,
okay,
he's seen something in his life.
Seen darkness.
I don't know what he's seen, man. I haven't read enough of his life, but he's seen something. So that when he gives you the crazy eyes, you see crazy in them.
Well, yes.
Those emotions, those deep, scary things.
I do believe that actors like Nicolas Cage have seen, pain and loss and things like that. But I don't think I fundamentally agree with you that that's what you're seeing in acting.
I think that's one of the things that make a good actor, become a great actor. It's also I think almost anything in life.
I think a great actor would be if somebody didn't have super deep experiences or very painful, huge losses in their life. I think a great actor would be the person who could portray that without having necessarily experienced it. And yeah, a good actor.
Okay, you make a good point there, but I think the great actors are the people that are able to take what they have had and work with it and build it up into something that gets everyone, oh my goodness, Oscars shower upon this guy, he's so amazing, or she's so great, just absolutely wonderful, sort of thing. Even if the worst they ever experienced for loss is, my childhood dog died in front of me. I saw him get hit by the car, and that was pretty bad. But nothing as bad as like a Schindler's List sort of horror. But if you can take the pain that you've got from the loss and you remember it and how it hits you and build that up to the same sort of emotion, gut wrenching, Oscar gold winning sort of performances that mark the truly greatest of actors and actresses of our day. I think that's what makes this is a person who takes what they've experienced and being able to apply that and amplify it on the stage and get everyone to understand and believe what they're going through. Anyone can deliver the lines, but it takes a truly great person to get you to somehow trick you, force you to empathize with them, whichever way it takes.
Well, that's another thing that I always say about acting is that technically it doesn't take a lot to get people to empathize with you, because people naturally want to, as other human beings, looking at a human being on a screen or on a stage or on a.
But if you want to become the truly great one, you got to get like 98+% of the population to empathize with you. And when people are watching movies, some of them are doing it so passively they just drop the empathy down. It's like, okay, now he's shot. Now he's walking around with
Well, that's true. I mean, it's not necessarily easy to act and to be an actor.
But when Bruce Willis walks on broken glass, man, with his bare feet,
yeah, Bruce Willis,
and and oh my goodness, you feel it looks like this man has stepped on Lego before. He knows pain of the feet, and so he works that up into pain of walking on like broken glass.
No, I believe Bruce Willis has walked on sharp things. That I believe in the bottom.
I believe
of my
he's
heart.
a good enough actor to really get you to feel it too. Because whenever I'm watching it with someone who hasn't seen Die Hard before, and although the list is getting ever shorter, whenever they first see that scene in Die Hard, he gets them to empathize. They feel the pain of stepping on it through him. And that's why I think Bruce Willis is one of the best actors, because he can do that. And despite being an action hero, he actually does really good comedy too. So he's a double threat.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that big of a Bruce Willis fan, but I did enjoy Die Hard. So yeah.
Well, watch him in The Whole Nine Yards sometime, or Death Becomes Her. He does excellent comedic work there.
Okay.
But with clowns, sort of thing, is people are seeing this jolliness here, but they're just not getting it. They're not getting the empathy related from it, and so they see the jolliness and they see it as fake because they're not getting the empathic connection. Mm-hmm. So they see, this is jolly. You're showing me jolliness, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not, it rings hollow in my own soul. And so that might be a thing for what makes them so darn scary and creepy.
I guess so. Well, one weird thing about clowns is that it's fake. It's fake emotion. It's like, they're acting happy, and they're trying to get you to, as an audience member, to feel happy.
Laugh with me in my crazy antics.
And people do. Like
mostly.
If a clown is funny, generally you can't help but laugh. Like you can't hold it back if something is funny.
If you can do a good pratfall, you can get most of the audience laughing with you.
Yeah, so
guilt free too, because everyone's willing to initially start laughing when they see somebody trip, because like when the hands go sort of thing. That's kind of funny. My daughter laughs when I try and catch something and it looks like I'm missing it. She gets big belly laughs off of that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
It's an innate response, but if the person who's doing it is not really going to hurt themselves as they go down for the fall sort of thing, then you can laugh at the pratfall and not feel guilty about it later. And that's the best of all worlds.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to follow you along your thread of clowns faking it, and that they realize that they're laughing at something that's, I don't know, it's inappropriate to laugh, and that there's a feeling you get in your stomach when you're laughing at something like somebody getting hurt that's a little bit guilty. But if it's a clown, then that gets overridden a little bit, but it might still be there a little bit. So you have this complicated, cake of emotions.
I guess it should be like a humorous, ethical subroutine. Like, is this appropriate to laugh or not? And then after so many lines down, you just realize, no, it doesn't matter if it's appropriate. This is still too complex. You're gonna have to feel conflicted about this whole darn thing.
Yeah, and I suppose that's why people can have complicated or unpredictable reactions to a clown, like for example, fear when it ought to be joy or something.
And then let's all talk about the 500-pound gorilla in the room here. Early childhood trauma. A clown is supposed to interact with kids of very young ages, sort of things, and kids don't react all that well to strangers. So you get a stranger with a distinctive style of makeup on their face coming in. Oh, how about you there, little one? Ha ha ha! And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, creepy stranger! All of a sudden, really inside my personal bubble. And, once that hits you in your psyche, well, that could be a bruise that lasts for all time.
Yeah, that's interesting too, because at different ages, a child will react very differently to a clown.
Or to any stranger coming up and interacting with them.
Well, after a certain age, it's clowns are just the funniest thing ever. I remember being probably 5 or 6, and I watched a clown routine. It was just so funny. I just laughed and laughed.
I remember actually
loved the clown
being
so
able
much.
to see some Barnum and Bailey stuff when I was about the same age, and that was dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
You want good clowns, you see the Barnum and Bailey guys.
But I suppose, getting them up close is a little bit different. And also, the younger the child, the more an explosive clown. He's trying to do his boisterous, clowny thing, but that can be,
yeah.
To a very small child, close up, that can be quite disturbing. When it's intended to be funny.
My daughter's quite a social person. Once she's comfortable, when she first meets a person, she will always instinctively just kind of go and semi-hide behind my legs.
Mm-hmm.
As all good children do, I believe. Initial just little awareness, like, what's up with this person? What's going on here? New person, new situation, new scenario, what's going on?
Yeah.
So if it was like a clown to come up, oh, hello there, little girl, and how are you doing? She would probably freak out a little bit, because it's really someone coming in invading her personal space beforehand. So I think the clowns who come up, up front and deal with a person personally, that might be more a recipe for childhood trauma against clowns, as opposed to just 2 clowns performing an act in front of a bunch of kids. They do their act with each other, the kids watch, they start opening up, okay, I'm seeing the scene, it's going on, and then the clown doesn't get too, hopefully, personal with anybody, and then, oh, it freaked me out, man, personal space, because, how many kids say, hey, you're in my personal bubble, right? They don't know those words yet.
Yeah, they just either start screaming, crying, or, whatever they do.
Kick, bite, all sorts of fun stuff kids do.
So what about clowns in D&D?
The jester class has always been a recurring thing.
There's a jester class?
Or subclass. It's appeared, I'd say at least twice I can recall in the Dragon magazines. I think they had it as either class kit or its own class for a little while. And I do believe, under the 5th edition rules, from what I've been double-checking, because I'm going back and forth, there's a lot of good stuff you can do with the entertainer background and a number of different classes. Rogue, even monk works out well. That could work out well into jesters and clowns sort of thing.
I think I remember 3rd edition having I remember it had a skill list of perform, and one may have been clowning.
Buffoonery.
Buffoonery, that's
yes.
the one it was.
So perform buffoonery. You could do satire for the classical jesters.
Is there a difference between a clown and a buffoon, or is that the same thing?
Clowns, buffoons, and jesters all have different specializations. Mimes work with the physical, thing without any sound.
Okay.
Clown would work more towards, group humor. A buffoon is somebody who just plays like the idiot. It'd be like the town oaf sort of thing,
so
but trumped up.
Buffoon sort of just jumps up and down and smacks his head and smacks his forehead in with his
or just does
hand
stupid stuff, like, oh, I set myself up for, oh, I self-sabotage through my dumb actions. I sit down on one end of a teeter-totter and something I've put down on the other end, comes up and splats me on the head. Ha ha ha.
Okay, but that's not clowning. So clowning is...
well, it was more group-based. I mean, that's why you have so many clowns in a tiny clown
interacting
car.
with another clown, like the Three Stooges.
Yeah, Three Stooges work excellently for example of a clown, I believe, as well as just picturing what anybody would be like trying to imitate a cartoon. So you can have like a Tom and Jerry sort of act sort of thing, and those would be clowns. You could have one of them be a buffoon and have the other one be a clown. That could work out interestingly too. And whereas jesters wind up having the satire and farcical. They're about the only people allowed to make fun of the people that would otherwise cut off your head.
So the jester can do like impressions and stuff.
Impressions, mockeries, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay.
And then you've got your harlequins, which are like Jester Plus, and they get like extra creepy because sometimes they don't say anything and they have weird rattles and weird creepy things like that.
They have rattles? No.
Sometimes rattles, things, like bells on them and all that. There's a lot of good variations. A lot of personalization for each harlequin sort of thing.
Okay, and I guess juggling is a totally different thing, right?
Juggling is part of one of their acts, I believe, although you can focus on making just a juggler and then you want weird juggling acts. Although, as most jugglers are always quick to lament, the applause never lasts as long as the juggling does. So you got to start doing different, tricks with your juggling sort of thing. Whereas the clowns can do a little juggling, then go on to something else. It doesn't involve such coordination.
All right. Well, I think okay. So now are there clown monsters? I think there's a.
I'm reasonably certain there's been a
dance?
lot of homebrew demons on that sort of thing.
There's there's a clown demon. Although it might just be just colorful face. I don't know.
Nothing. Well, I think the clowns are intrinsically supposed to be, like played for humor or dark humor, and I mean, that's like playing a kender. It's really hard to do right and very easy to do wrong. So I believe for almost all canon resources, they've kept away from that simply because of how poorly it could come off in the wrong hands.
That'd be interesting. What if there was a D&D race? Like, how D&D has dwarves, elves, halflings, gnomes, half-orcs. It's got all the standard race, and then you added.
I'm a half jester.
Race number 9 or whatever is just clown. Just and they naturally have that sort of face like that, and they're naturally. I don't know.
Do like the dehumanization of them by treating them as their own separate entity or species.
Yeah, and they breed true, and there's males and females, and it comes with a little list of weights.
The downside to that though is eventually someone's going to do sexy female clown things. As just part of the rules.
Downside?
34. Well, that's the thing. If people get traumatized by a regular clown, sexy clown is going to cause so many conflicted opinions. I'm horrified yet aroused. This is really weirding me out in areas I just have not delved into my own psyche.
Well, I don't think you have to worry, because I'm sure if you looked up sexy clown on the internet, you would find lots of stuff. So I don't think.
Although I'm willing to say at this time of the year, you're most likely to find more costume images.
Sure.
Try it 6 months from now. You're probably going to get a different set of images coming up.
I don't think the internet works like that.
Google search results based off of clicks and views. So more people looking for costumes clicking the stuff are going to raise up the image links.
Oh.
So it can actually fluctuate or almost breathe throughout the course of the year, as you can do interesting trends that way.
That sounds
Waka Waka. For a lot of time, you look up Waka Waka, you get a lot of images of Fozzie, Bear from the Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
But when Shakira did her, song for Africa, Waka Waka, it suddenly became all the images were about Shakira.
Yeah, but doesn't that sort of stick like that?
It's still a bit of a mixed bag, but her pictures have kind of gone down as the song popularity is not being as much. People are clicking okay, I search Waka Waka, and I click on Fozzie. And that increases that image's chance of being up near the top.
Okay, I have no idea if that's correct, but sure, we'll say that.
There are a lot of little things about that. It's so that way you can't just click on inappropriate links 100 million times through auto, things to, oh hey, the first one is always a nutty image sort of thing. But that's in the broad strokes how they generally operate. So.
Now, are clowns ever the protagonist of a story?
That's the thing is. Very infrequently could they even be considered as such. A lot of times they're almost exclusively antagonistic and not positively so.
Okay.
They work so well as a creepy enemy or minion. I mean,
so I suppose a clown could be a storyteller and could be
that works very well that way. Yeah.
Acting out the story, but usually they're acting out sort of someone else's story, right?
Which is maybe sometimes the best story to tell, acting out someone else's story that way. I cannot recall any stories where the hero of the story is a clown. I've seen magicians, I've seen detectives, I've seen streetwise samurais, a lot of huge variation, but never anyone even trying to do well, there was one where the clown was a protagonist, but he wasn't really a good guy. They'd go out, they'd find mimes, and they'd beat the tar out of him. And he'd wind up sleeping around with strange women, sort of thing. Well, he's still wearing the costume, and then he'd go to, a kid's party sort of thing, drunk, hungover, and all that, whatever. So clearly not the positive protagonist sort of thing. So I guess if you really just want a unique character for NaNoWriMo next month...
Is Santa Claus a clown?
No, Santa Claus is at closest an elf, and otherwise, just a saint.
Okay.
I suppose we could try finding out who the patron saint of clowns is, but...
Yeah, there might be one. Yeah.
I mean, they got 4 for gamblers. They got to have at least 1 for clowns and, jolly makers. But no, yeah, St. Nicholas is some weird fusion of saint, elf, and Coca-Cola.
But he does wear bright clothing, and he's sort of...
but the bright clothing tends to have come from Coca-Cola from like 90 years ago. They were designing like an iconic image, and that's the Santa with the trim and the red thing. Before that, it was more robes and fur trim because dudes, like going up.
Yeah,
cold.
I've heard that there were like popular depictions of Santa in bright clothing, maybe red, maybe other colors too.
By and large, though, he was much more of a Gandalf style appearance.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
like from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like Gandalf the Grey.
Just think if Coke had decided to keep up with oh, we want him to be not just like a good figure, but also someone big, like broad-shouldered and imposing. Maybe you'd see more Santa Claus Gandalf crossover fiction. Maybe. I am Santa the Red.
I don't even know how you thought of that, but okay.
Well, magical beings, sort of thing.
Sure.
I don't know. I just kind of. Can't you see them working together? How Gandalf saved Christmas?
I would, I would like to see a Santa and Gandalf team up in a comic book or something.
Sure. Yeah, you get like a Shadowfax or thing leading the thing, but he, can't fly, so, Santa uses his elfin magic to get, Shadowfax to fly through the air, and he leads the rest of the reindeer on. It really melds well together, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And they wind up after doing the proper, saving Christmas sort of thing. Then they take a, turn over by the Shire, and they give, little Hobbit boys and girls presents too, because, Gandalf likes that sort of thing. And then at the end, bam, fireworks.
Yes, bam is right. That is the correct onomatopoeia.
So,
fireworks.
Christmas fireworks. Yeah. I mean, come on, that's a sweet ending there.
Yeah. Christmas, we do firecrackers. How did we get on? Oh, sorry, I brought up Santa Claus.
Yeah.
As a clown.
He definitely shares some characteristics with them, but that's only because of Coke's stylizing image and all that. There's also the jolly, round man clowns sometimes do the extra padding not because it's like, oh hey, big people are always jolly, but because now you can try and punch me even harder in my stomach because I got padding on me. Ha ha. So that's a plus for them, I suppose. But I think some of the best evil clowns, or scary clowns, are the ones that combine things over with other areas. Like, because the clown is seen as like being a false front for something, what do you put behind that? It's like, this clown is a vampire. This clown is a werewolf. This clown is a zombie clown.
Yeah, you don't think there's... I mean, yes, that's definitely awesome. A zombie clown. I like the thought of that. In a zombie movie, anyways, it'd be like, oh yeah, here's your other thing. It's a zombie clown.
They're trying to escape, like the whole thing, like the whole mall thing's a no-go, man. That's where the whole darn thing starts, man. That's a high transmission area. Going to the malls is a bad spot for them. So they run it. Oh no, they run out of gas. Where? Next to the amusement park. Zombie strongmen, zombie bearded ladies, and a lot of zombie clowns.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was clowns were a bad guy in The Tick. Do you remember that?
Yes. Well, that's a fun thing for superheroes to beat up on because there's multiple clowns, so they work good as thugs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the Joker had, like, clown minions, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a
Judy,
clown.
Yeah.
But, well, also, like, every once in a while, if
he's
like
really
in the
become
old Adam
his own
West
thing.
version, there'd be just a bunch of people dressed, like a bunch of thugs dressed up as clowns.
Because you can dress a bunch of people up as clowns. It's not like you can dress a bunch of people up as, like King Richard V, Richard the Lionhearted. We've got 5 of them. Like, how does that make sense? No, you can have, like, 5 clowns, though. And that's why you beat them up, because they're thugs.
Right. What was I saying? But there should be, I mean, there's something to be said about just the pure, just the clown. And, like, I don't know, clown is just a guy, right? It's not like there's no supernatural thing to a clown.
It's like, you found a clown egg. If you keep it properly warm and full of, like sprinkled with confetti, eventually a baby clown will hatch out of it.
Oh, I love it. I think that would be a great, like, just a premise for a story of some kind. It's just that clowns are their own thing, like, and they're just
most people assume a person chooses to become a clown, but that's not true. A clown is actually the same thing as a zombie. That's why you actually don't see clown zombies. Is if a clown bites you, you become a clown.
Or like a family of clowns moves in down the street, and the people are like, okay.
You could have a really wacky, weird allegory for racism that way. Stupid freaking honking clowns.
Or a clown is just, a job that someone has.
But it's such an out there job. I mean, you could definitely dehumanize the clown into its own species or things who chooses to become a clown? Who says this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? I'm going to have a good retirement plan with this. And I'm going to get pension. And I'm going to get dental benefits. Because I'm going clown, and that's where it really works out, man. And so people say, no, man, clowns are hatched, or clowns are like an infection, man. That's why they try and get so close to you, man. And they ha ha ha. Next thing you know, they're gnawing on your forearm. That's why they put them in the center of 3-ring circuses, man. They get too close to the audience. They got the snipers up there, waiting where the trapeze acts works, and bam! Oh, I guess that clown fell asleep. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Better shove him in the tiny car.
I thought you were going to say the rings are like holy wards, the ring of protection.
Well, that works pretty good, too.
Clowns in the...
Or it could just be they got electroshock collars. They go outside of the thing, and they're not inside the tiny little clown car, and they get electroshocked back.
Oh, okay. On that note, can I mention our email address? If you are offended by anything that we said during this podcast, you can, I don't mind, send us an email. I want to hear about it. thesimulationist@gmail.com. I'd be happy to entertain your comments.
Conversely, if you believe this stuff is good enough to write about, then send it to us at thesimulationist@gmail.com. I want to read this clown is a separate species sort of fiction, or, clown in, forget the zombie apocalypse, let's go clown apocalypse. And in the end, the entire Earth became, coated with white face paint and a large red honking nose.
If you want to leave a comment, there is the Facebook page, facebook.com/thesimulationist. And it has, little boxes where you can communicate with us there. You can also go to...
the iTunes store.
The iTunes, and there's a little place to write in reviews. You can give us 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, or even 5 stars if you think we're that good.
Unfortunately, it has to be stars. You can't go clown noses or, tiny cars or anything that actually relates to, this week's episode. So.
Well, you can always write in the review section, in lieu of stars, I
give this 3 rings out of 3.
Yeah, something like that. I didn't rate Gotham.
Yeah.
11 out of 13.
Okay, I think Gotham right now is simply on a pass-fail basis.
Okay.
Would you give Gotham a pass or a fail at this point?
Pass, yeah.
That's a better review than I'd have given it.
Okay.
Right now, it's a high fail, but still a fail.
Okay. Sorry, I guess that was a little off track. What did I cover for social media? RPGpodcast.com. You can find lots of other cool podcasts. Make sure and listen to...
Bet you they're not talking about clowns, though.
They might be. I mean, you just do a search, for clown podcast, and I might do the same thing and just see what comes up. It might be interesting. There's definitely comedy podcasts out there that probably do clowns, but I don't know.
They're pretty visual media. You have to either talk about clowns or be a clown. In which case, you got to do a vlogcast, video logcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vlogcast.
Yeah. But that sounds like a really...
A vodcast?
Vodcast?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right. We're making this up as we go.
What else? You can tweet at me, at SpaceBoot1. That's SpaceBoot1 on Twitter. And you can email... Yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, you can check out the YouTube channel. It just says the same episode, this episode, which you might be listening to on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever, or you might be listening on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/thesimulationist, and it's just, it's all of these episodes are on YouTube too. And you can leave comments under the YouTube video, and we'll be happy to read them.
So, final thoughts, Josh?
Final thoughts on clowns. Wow, I don't know if we addressed a question about clowns. I mean... Do they work as a good villain? Are they scary enough to be something you dress up for as Halloween? Well, I think, well, I don't think clowns are scary in themselves, and I don't think Halloween necessarily has to be scary, because people dress up like cats or, you know, superhero. Superman is not scary. People dress up as Superman for Halloween.
Superman could be very scary. This last week, I saw Superman leave 2 people on a mountaintop to tumble to their deaths when they tried to climb down, knowing full well that they would try it, because they knew his identity.
Okay, alright, fair enough. Superman can be scary.
Superman can be incredibly scary.
I dressed up as Zorro one year when I was... It's cool because when you're a little kid, you can, like, point swords at people, because I was Zorro and I had a wooden sword. And you can just point a sword at a person and be like, give me candy. And they're like, oh, you're so cute. I'm, like, thinking back on it. Like, that's... Did
you say give me candy sort of thing, or did you do it with, like, an Antonio Banderas accent?
I wasn't that sophisticated as a child. I still am. But what I think what they did was, people always ask, when you trick or treat, for some reason, I think they still do this, they ask, okay, so what's your trick, or what trick do you do? And everybody seemed to ask it all the time, and I was like, oh, you want a trick, do you? Shing!
Ha-ha!
There's my trick.
Zorro. Although, if you could have got like a homemade sword sort of thing, you could have wound up getting like a nice little like chalk or something like that at the end of the tip, and that way you could actually leave a Z mark on.
Yeah, like red chalk even.
Yeah, that could be pretty sweet.
If
only we had a time machine and some time to actually make the homemade.
You'd kind of have to practice a little bit, because it seems to be in my
Zorro
imagination.
does it so fluently.
Yeah, Zorro is very expert at wielding the blade, and that's why it's impressive. Yeah. Whereas a kid dressed up as Zorro might have a few more problems.
Watch this. You see my sword? And then against the wall. Zorro. I don't need a person's clothes to make it happen.
Or I could like...
It's all in the presentation style.
You know, draw it on the sidewalk in front of someone's house or something. Zed.
You have been marked. That's not Ned, it's Zorro. Zed.
But so clowns, they can be scary. I don't think it's enough to just have a clown. Like, to be... If you're looking for scary... you can do a scary plotline with a clown in it, but also on some level, clowns are just funny.
Clowns are just the shell for something. If you're going to make them creepy, they're just the outer layer of this nougat of horror.
Yeah, but they do have some useful, like, sort of trappings that come along with them, like sort of baggage, like the props and the makeup and the fact that they're sort of not what they appear to be. So,
well, I mean, heck, that's the whole core of Pagliacci and his stuff. There, mm-hmm. you can work that. You don't need to make it horror. You can make it tragedy, personal, soul-crushing tragedy sort of thing of sorrow, and what it really means to be wearing a mask in today's society. Make that with like a clown. Guy goes home, you know, sort of thing. He dresses up as like a clown at all time in his home, man. Just make it real creepy, sort of thing. Why is he dressed up as a clown? He wants to be happy. So he wears the makeup, wears the outfit, but he's not happy. He sits around crying in his clown outfit at home.
I kind of want to see a movie now, like about just a clown, not like a non-scary, non-funny. It's like the worst movie ever, but a clown movie about a clown who isn't scary or funny. He's just sad. And he's just, that's the whole movie. I think that'd be good, like, similar to A Serious Man, where it just, did you see that one? It's just a guy who's just living a life and is just depressed, and I think he's an accountant or something like that.
Well, that sounds depressing to me.
Yeah, but if he was a clown, I think that'd be interesting.
What if he's an accountant, but he goes home and he dresses up as a clown because he wants to be happy, and he remembers all like the happy times seeing clowns when he was young. So he dresses up as a clown. He's just like creepy, unhappy clown at home. Just all
that
sad.
Could work. I'm thinking like this guy, like...
In which case the accountant is the mask, the clown is the real person he tries to be. It's just another layer on him.
Well, I'm thinking that the hero I have in mind, which, I mean, it could be, it doesn't have to be this way, but I have in mind that he's a guy who doesn't really like being a clown, but he somehow got that job, and he's like, you know, he does, I don't know, birthday parties, or you know, those office gigs, you know, office party gigs. So he like shows up, and for some reason people hire him because they hear, oh, he's really good, but he's not that good. So that's the guy, and he doesn't become a clown to enjoy being a clown. He becomes a clown because he has to.
You can make a living off it, and sometimes you just got to settle in life.
Yeah.
Harsh.
And then he just gets, like, you know, he gets home from clowning or whatever. He still has the makeup on. He just doesn't bother to take it off for, you know, for a couple days. Okay.
Cracks open, you know, like a few brews sort of thing, watches some TV, wearing the clown makeup, falls asleep in it, leaves half a clown face on the side of the chair.
I like that image, too.
He wakes up, half of the face is cleaned off, and there's still the clown face on the side of his lazy boy recliner, man.
I just want to... I wasn't envisioning this as a scary movie, but now just imagining, like, the makeup imprint on the couch, like, comes to life.
It talks to him, sort of thing. Yeah. Ho, this is as good as you're going to be. You'll never be a better clown than this.
Okay, that's getting crazy. Okay. What did you have for final?
Well, I'm not going to leave with a final thought, but I'm going to leave with a final question. And it's going to be, like you said, it can't just be clowns. Clowns themselves aren't enough. There has to be something deeper to them.
Yeah.
So, if clowns could teleport, would they make a honking sound when they reappear somewhere?
Like,
like you know, like their car horns or their noses honk, you know, sort of thing. You know, this is, you know, a clown pops out of existence, pops back in, you know, honk honk.
Like teleports, like the X-Man guy.
Like Nightcrawler, or yeah. I'm pretty sure there's like a dozen other, you know, like mediocre guys that do short range.
Well, I think he's
teleports.
the most probably well.
Well, he makes a big bap sound when he comes back. You know, in this case, you know, a clown version of him. You know, honk honk. Is that how it happens? Would that happen? I'll leave you guys to think about that and all the other weird things you can do to add something to a clown to either make him happier or scarier. And I have to leave that to you for you to decide. Like, does a clown with super strength get really creepy, or does that make him like a better clown, a happier clown? Start thinking about like various superpowers they could have. Think about like, does that make a clown better or worse? If a clown could teleport, would he make a honking sound when he reappears?
All right. Well, I guess I've been Josh Levin.
I've been Ryan Kirkby.
Honk
honk.